has said no to not drugs. And, it is actually legal. You can farm hemp in the United States, but you have to get a dispensation from the Drug Enforcement Agency, and good luck with that.
Exactly. Now, what I find funny about that is, and you probably, of course, can back me up on this, what was our major crop as this country was binded together?
Hemp.
Thank you. Our forefathers, their agriculture was mostly based on...
Our first currency was printed on hemp.
Yeah.
Hemp. All right. If you had a certain amount of land, you were pretty much made to grow it because it was that substance that we depended on for a reason.
Right.
So many uses back then. Now that we have this technology that we're using now, we're finding more and more things, but we don't have that access.
Yeah.
We don't have that access that we should have. We could be so far more in advance.
Let's talk about the petroleum. Biofuels. I mean, hemp is one of the best producers of plant-based oils for biofuels.
Yes.
I mean, so if we're going to be serious about getting off petroleum, getting away from these fossil fuels, hemp has a huge, huge part to play in this.
But again, how serious are we? What do we? I mean,
you and I are pretty serious about it.
But I'm talking as
the royal we.
Exactly,
yeah.
The royal we, the ones who, again, tell us what's good and what's bad.
The owners of Hanes, not so much.
Right, or the owner of ExxonMobil, Chevron,
exactly.
Any of these,
These people have money that has been rolled through our country for a long time. It has been money that has been calculated. It has been money that has been put in statistics, and it is basically foolproof. And it's already going into the hands that they want it to go into.
Right.
That's the issue.
So let's talk about the money aspect of this. So there's the money aspect of industrial hemp, where the folks who are making money off the quote alternatives to using hemp, whether it be paper or biofuels or cover crops or corn, soybeans, all these so-called commodity crops. There's folks that are making money off those, like ExxonMobil, like Monsanto, like these giant companies. There are the pharmaceutical companies that are making money off of quote synthetics, synthetic drugs that basically do the same thing as cannabis would do for a patient, with far more detrimental side effects. There are the people who are making money off of the law enforcement and incarceration aspects of cannabis, prohibition.
Yes.
So to me, I look at that and I say, well, the money is the thing here. These people do not want to give up their revenue streams, and that's really where their fight comes from. It's not for any kind of justice or what's right or what's good for our children or good for our society.
You've nailed it right on the head. Right on the head.
And again, you look at it through just those three things: industrial use, pharmaceutical, prison complex.
Correct.
It's just the amount of money in those three things and concentrated really in the hands of a very, very few people in the United States.
The select. And those are the ones that are so afraid of this becoming available for everyone.
And those are the ones that are basically purchasing politicians. They're buying campaigns. They're buying favors. Folks, it's time for us to open our eyes. And money makes the world go round. And in the United States, nothing has ever been truer as far as our political landscape goes, as far as the will of the politicians is. It's all about, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
How much did you donate to my campaign?
A good example is, look at our Food and Drug Administration. Look at all the people that are in charge of our food. It's strangely similar names I find in that also ran Monsanto.
Right.
Wait a second. Our company that we use, a company, not an organization, or a company that we use to make our chemical weapons and poisons, slid over to our food.
Right. Agent Orange, folks.
As our friends at 13 Folds like to call them, the Counts of Monsanto.
Yes. So if that's not a perfect example of people buying into politics...
Well, and you see it in every every aspect.
Yes.
You know, who runs BEMRI and who gives out these offshore oil drilling certificates.
All these
geez,
deals.
it's guys who work in the oil industry, and guess what they're going to do when the next president's elected, and they're not in that. They're going to go right back to work for the oil industry.
Exactly. They're always going to be making
So
the money. And that's the way
right. So why shouldn't they make? They know in 4 or 8 years I'm going to go back to this job. So while I'm here, I might as well make that job a little easier.
Shall we even consider getting into who got the contracts to rebuild Iraq, or is that too much of a too much of a tinfoil hat for this broadcast?
Well, no, I mean, hey, the numbers
It's
are
all
there,
intertwined.
Man. Halliburton, that's it's a big.
it's all really connected more than people realize.
Right. It's a big web, I
Yes,
think.
and people really have to wake up to the fact that if you love the land of the free, you love your country, then you have to realize what really makes us able to have our freedoms. And how free are we? You know what I mean? We should be able to decide what freedoms we have. Our government was made to protect us and to serve us. We lost that somewhere along the line. We totally forgot about that. We are now serving our government. That has never been the reason for it.
Well, yeah, and I think when it comes down to it, we are viewed by many of the people in power as simply mechanisms of consumption, input, output.
Yeah.
You know, we are, carbon-based tax banks, basically.
It's basically we're cattle.
Yeah.
We're really cattle, and
Yep.
it's sad to say, but we're revenue. We're really just revenue. And that's what we're trying to change. And when we're coming to the cannabis cause, this is something where it's a bigger fight. It's about the cannabis itself, of course, but it's also about our freedoms.
And I think
about our right to choose.
Probably like other people in this media segment, the alternative media world, I mean, I'm personally not yet convinced that there isn't anything that we can do. You know, a lot of people, I think when they think of all these issues, the first thing to do is throw up their hands and say, there's nothing I can do, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to binge watch Daredevil for the next 48 hours. You know, we're seeing, especially with technology on our side, just like what we're doing here today, I think we're seeing steady progress towards the right thing happening in certain segments. You know, It's not right across the board, but I think you're seeing progress in environmental issues. We're seeing progress in personal freedoms and in cannabis. And it all really is these strange bedfellows, these odd coalitions coming together, and we don't agree on 85% of the things, but here's what we agree on, and we all band together.
But
and
there's
that united front.
Agreeing on it, it's having the opinion on it.
Yeah.
Being able to have the opinion on it and having that heard.
Yeah. Well, but also to have the outlet, the outlet to have your voice heard. Mm-hmm. The media has been co-opted in this country by those same powerful concerns that buy politicians and buy campaigns.
Unless you have $1 for a holler.
I still don't know what that means. Am I showing my whiteness by admitting that I don't know what that means?
But your message will get heard if you have the right funding behind it.
Well, and I think if your message will be heard if you speak the truth. I think people will find it if you speak the truth. Now, I mean, the flip side is certainly true with the access to, quote, alternative media. I mean, anybody can start a blog and say whatever they want.
Yes.
And it leads to, frankly, there's a lot of crazies out there that spout crazy stuff. And speaking of which, Pat has rejoined us after his bombing run of advertising rate sheets here around the cannabis convention. So welcome back, Pat. Did you drum up any revenue for the show, or
is that why we're here? I thought we were here really out of sort of a philosophical purity, a sense of engagement with the community at large.
Well, philosophical purity ain't cheap, my friend.
That's a lesson I've learned my entire life, believe me. No, just enjoying the crowd here. It's a great crowd. This is the crummy weekend for May, so what better place to spend it than here at the Rhode Island Convention Center at canna-con 2015? And as we sit here at the Halfway Tree Jamaican Restaurant Broadcasting booth. Say that 3 times quickly, my friend. No, you've got a really great mix here of people from the medical community. You've got people here from testing, people here on the production side, people here who are obviously intimately involved in patient care. You've got political advocacy here. You've got some fashion stuff, some publications. It's a really great mix of stuff, and certainly worth a trip down here on a rainy Saturday afternoon here at the Rhode Island Convention Center. And, of course, if you walk into the building, say hi. We're the second booth on the right, and we're broadcasting for the
I got to hand it to you, Pat. You got us a prime location. Now, I just assumed that we would be in what they call the obstructed view seats, or possibly over there near the restrooms where people would ask us for a mint on their way out. But we got prime real estate today.
This is we're living large, as Tony and I always do, and we will be here tomorrow afternoon because this is a marathon, not a simple sprint.
And by the way, you may have the charge of a seat on your account because I'm about to blow this thing out. I mean, they really gave us some dinky chairs.
Wait a minute, I gave them your credit card number.
I mean, it's fine.
You should have given them my credit card number. That would have been a laugh.
Boing.
What is the sound of an electronic check bouncing?
Yeah, it's a high-quality show here, folks. And, of course, we're joined by our good friend DJ Psycho Eddie, who's acting both as co-conspirator and security.
Keeping away the throngs, as it were.
I'm just keeping the masses off of the airwaves, keeping that nice, safe distance away, so you can't hear all the conspiracy that's going on less than 10 feet away.
Plus, with DJ Psycho Eddie, myself, and Pat here, we're actually we're causing a gravitational pull towards the booth.
Oh my! So what events have you guys got coming up in terms of the Fat Squirrel? But speaking about the epicenter of all things cannabis,
Yes.
It would appear that the Fat Squirrel has become sort of its own personal vortex, if you will.
It is almost its own little society. It's come to be. It's definitely a great new addition to the normal family. We've been going every Friday. We had to miss the few Fridays coming past just to get ready for the cannabis convention. But we're going to be there for every Friday for reggae night. And yeah, we set up a booth with our dank darlings, and it's been a great time since we started going. Probably about 4 months back. So
it's sort of a Cheers meets reggae dance hall.
Isn't it it's a very comfortable environment. It's one of those places where you walk down those stairs and everybody does know your name, and then you get a nice little meat patty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
is that what they're calling it?
You can't really lose.
Mark's waiting to walk into the Fat Squirrel, and everybody goes normal.
That was good.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad, yeah.
Pat and I, we've talked a little bit off the air about the idea of libertarian-leaning companies or small businesses and maybe folks who sport cannabis kind of giving each other a little bit of extra business. I mean, you can't completely keep it in that circle, but the idea of folks supporting each other with small businesses that lean libertarian, that are for legalization and throughout a litany of issues. And I think we're seeing that with the Fat Squirrel. Yes. Our friends at 13 Folds, they're there on Thursdays. There's a big show coming up to kick off Memorial Day with one of Pat's favorite bands, Jody Jolt and the Vault. They're going to be there next Sunday. So it really has been this group of people.
They are not just
financially.
a band, by the way. They are actually happening.
They're their own scene. That's for sure.
So the Libertarian Party won't be having coffee at Blue State Coffee anytime soon.
Now
how about Doreen Costa's coffee shop? Maybe we could.
Yeah. No. Well, we don't go to Democratic Party.
You mean the Helen Lovejoy of the Rhode Island State Legislature? Won't somebody please think of the children?
Oh my. Yeah. No. The Fat Squirrel / Halfway Tree Cafe is great food, great booze, great music. It's pretty much perfect, and should actually become your summer headquarters. Fair statement?
I agree.
One of the things that we talked about from our last podcast there was you know, you can sit at home and flick through YouTube and all these things, Netflix and Hulu and all these entertainment outlets. And, you know, frankly, you spend more time looking for something to entertain you rather than being entertained. And when you go out to a live music club like this, it's right there. You know, you go down there, it's right there for you to enjoy. You don't have to spend an hour dicking around